Few conversations have more landmines than political discussions with loved ones who hold opposing views. KPBS Public Matters reporter Amita Sharma joins me now for an update on how some San Diegans are navigating these polarizing talks as the holidays approach. Welcome, Amita.
It's good to be with you, Maya.
Now, you've covered the fractured relationships over President-elect Donald Trump after his first term in office. And now that he's about to enter his second term into the White House, how are these bonds with loved ones faring?
Well, first, a little bit of background. So over the last 8 years, rifts so deep over politics have developed that marriages and friendships have ended. Siblings are no longer talking to each other. Even parents and children have been estranged. And people really feel like they don't have a shared sense of humanity, a shared sense of fairness with their loved ones. And so they believe that disagreements over huge issues like abortion, gun reform, climate change, and healthcare cross moral lines. So when they differ with the people closest to them on these big issues, they feel a sense of betrayal. That said, the last time I covered this issue was at the end of President-elect Donald Trump's first term. Now, as I've revisited it, I will say, and again, this is not a scientific study, but I will say that people are they're navigating these situations a lot better than they did 4 years ago. For instance, I spoke with a guy by the name of Noli Zosa. In the past, he has felt caught in the middle between his mom and his cousin who don't support Trump on one side and his sister who does. So now he says he will only engage politically with family, with his Democratic friends, after reading the situation and deciding whether it's safe to do so.
It's about navigating and knowing people's personalities, and if people can discuss these things rationally, or whether it's a trigger, and it just will ruin a a meeting or a nice dinner.
Alan Hoving is another local voter who canvassed for Harris in the weeks leading up to the election. He says he did not want to dwell in anger, as some of his friends have post-election. So he actually congratulated a friend from high school who supported Trump. Now, Hoving says he's on a mission to find common ground with people who hold opposing views, to build consensus.
We think that we've been polarized and pulled apart. So now I'm trying to find what are those places and spaces where people are actively coming together to try to solve the common problems.
Conventional wisdom has long said to avoid political discussions with people. But Daniel Post-Senning says otherwise. He is an author and etiquette expert with the Emily Post Institute. He believes people should talk about politics, but be extremely aware and accountable about how they do it.
You can approach the topic with some care. You can acknowledge that it's a difficult topic of conversation. You can test the waters a little bit. You can put out some feelers, maybe share some opinions or open the door to the conversation, but don't just barge through with all your lights flashing right off the bat.
People living in social silos and media silos makes these conversations even more challenging. The biggest source of dissension is that people are operating from different values, says UC San Diego sociologist Kevin Lewis.
This is another reason these conversations are even more challenging than in the past. Both sides just have a hard time really even conceiving of an alternative, viable perspective.
Very interesting stuff there, Amita.
And you know, Maya, just building on what Kevin Lewis just said, the one theme that emerged from all of this is, okay, there's an understanding that we don't share the same values, perhaps, but if we don't find a way to really listen to one another and to really hold a space for people with differing views to express themselves freely, then we are going to have a hard time regaining some of the unity that we've lost as a country.
Very sound advice going into the holidays and going into a new term.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Amita. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And this story is part of our Public Matters initiative. You can learn more about it on our website at kpbs.org/publicmatters.